This is Late Tea Time, the golf betting podcast that finds the best betting value closer to the first shot being struck than anyone else.
Always gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information.
Ooh, I do like our introductory music. That little bit at the end where it just fades away. It's very, very pleasant. Late Tea Time podders out there. It is us back, James and Dave, with you, taking you through this week's golf, looking for the very latest in betting gossip so we can bring you the best prices, the best bets on the Late Tea Time podcast. As I say, I am James. He's Dave. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I've got Oprah Winfrey outside my flat.
Yeah, and that's not even a gag, is it? That's just a fact.
It's basically most of the roads around my area have been closed over the last few days. There are World War II buses and vehicles, and there are people now walking around outside with 1940s garb on, extras and things, walking around getting ready to do the march. I think they were practicing the march outside yesterday. Bonkers. I tell you what, they've been doing it for 3 weeks, and they've. Somebody was saying there's about 500 people involved in this. There's no wonder movies cost a lot to make. It's for one scene. This, I think, it's bizarre. Anyway, that is my life and what's happening just outside that window. But we are looking ahead to today to the Genesis Invitational DT, and one to look forward to. I'm just going to get the right banner up so we can show it on the screen. Bang! Genesis Invitational, and I'll give you the top end of the market for this one. John Rahm. He's the favourite to win the thing. He's 15-2. Got Rory McIlroy at 9-1. Scotty Scheffler is 10-1. Justin Thomas 16s. As I said, we leave it late. We're Thursday morning this week, aren't we? Has that brought you any late information that can maybe steer us in a particular direction?
It has, yeah. There's been quite a bit of late-ish news. I'll start with sort of snippets I'm going to put into a treble, a 72-hole match bet treble. So this is the tournament where Tiger kind of plays host, but he's also playing for the first time since, let's have a look. St Andrews, I think, since the Open. And obviously with Tiger, one of the big things, well, the main thing nowadays is how are you feeling? How what's the physical state of you? So he goes through kind of talking about that a little bit. He was going to play in his own Hero Challenge event, but he had to pull out because he had plantar fasciitis, which is like a very painful affliction to the bottom of your foot. I had it about 20 years ago. I don't know why it went, but I got it cleared up. But it's nasty. Like every time you step, it's like So the question to Tiger was, have you actually, because he's going to play this week, have you actually walked 72 holes? Which is kind of a fair question, given this is a 72-hole tournament. And he went, no. So you can't think he's in the greatest state. And if you look back, I was kind of looked back, when did he do that? So in the Masters, he came back from like a 2-year, well, nearly maybe 18-month competitive absence at the Masters. And he made the cut, and you thought, wow, how fantastic, well done. But on the weekend, when you could see he was just tiring and fatiguing.
And he looked in pain, bless him, didn't he? He was really. Every time he bent down to get the ball out of the cup, it looked like agony.
And you were wincing, and he shot 78 on the weekend. So, and then he played the PGA again, brilliant to make the cut. Third round 79, and then he withdraws. So, it's kind of, there's the story. That's kind of, you think, well, I don't see how that's going to change it. In the Open at St Andrews, 78, 75 didn't make the cut. But even if he did make the cut, you're thinking he's only going to just slip down the leaderboard. So I was surprised that they put him in a match bet at all this week, to be honest. I would have thought, I don't see how he's going to sort of win that. But there's a few up with him. So you've got to take him on. And I've gone on to Betfair, and they've put him up against Adam Scott, which I just think I know Adam Scott's so short at 3 to 10, but as 3 to 10 goes, Adam Scott, I think he's only got to sort of stand up to win, really. He loves this tournament. He's won it twice. He's got loads of other big finishes, Adam Scott. He says it's his favourite stop on tour. Even if Tiger was physically fine, you'd probably put Scott up against him anyway, just because of Tiger's competitive roughness. Scott said he's been home for a month to Australia. That was a really useful time, but he did get to work in the last couple of weeks. And he once won this event having not played this, having made this the first start of the year. I mean, we're into sort of mid-Feb now, aren't we? So Adam Scott to beat Tiger Woods over 72 holes. I mean, I'm cheering Tiger on. You'd love to see him do well, but I just can't see it.
Yeah.
Even if he makes the cut, I just don't see how he improves on the weekend.
Even if you take the golf out of the equation, it's quite a long walk around a golf course, isn't it? 4 times.
That's the problem. I think he can hit the shots, but just the fatigue of walking 4 times. And because he's not done it, if he'd come in and said, yeah, I've been building up my stamina, I've played like 6 days in a row or something, he's not even tested himself. So as much as Tiger is incredible and loves this sort of challenge of beating the sort of physical difficulties, you just think this is too much.
Yeah. So 3 to 10 then, Adam Scott to beat Tiger.
Yeah.
So that's with Betfair. Are all of these with Betfair?
These are with Betfair, yeah. You can dig around. I mean, you can use this info in any other way you like. You could back Tiger to miss the cut. I mean, you could, but I personally wouldn't want to make that bet because I wouldn't want to be thinking, go on, hit a bad shot. I just, I want Scott to do really well and Tiger just to sort of do nicely. That would, and Scott wins for that bet. The second leg then is another player I really like, Keegan Bradley. I've not got any inside info on him, barring the fact that he's in brilliant form. He's 3rd in the FedEx Cup standings this season, so he's having a brilliant season. He's up against Justin Rose, who won at Pebble Beach. But they have interviewed Justin Rose, and they said, what have you been up to since Pebble Beach? And he said, I went home to England. It was a bit of a scheduling glitch, he called it, in which case he's coming back now. When they interviewed him on Tuesday, he'd kind of not really picked up his clubs or seen the course. So it sounds like, to me, it sounds like he's won at Pebble Beach. He's gone home to celebrate and he's not quite ready for this tournament. And again, he's up against an absolute, stud of a player in Bradley in great form, got some good form on this course. So I think Rose will be a bit underprepared, and just the rhythm of golf anyway. Often if you get a win, maybe out of the blue, then you dip for a little bit before you rise again. So I think Rose is there to be taken on. Bradley's 4 to 5 to win that 72-hole match bet. And then the other bit of info that I didn't really have a handle on was Tom Kim, our friend Tom Kim. I didn't really know if he had any, because it's his first start in the event. But a couple of things in a piece I read this morning from Chua Chu Chang, who does all the kind of Asian Tour PGA previews. He found a quote where Tiger Woods is praising him, so he'll be chuffed about that. He's 21. He came to the event in Riviera in California 3 years ago as a fan, and was kind of, his jaw dropped on the floor when he saw Tiger. Now he's playing in the same tournament as Tiger, so that's a bit of a thrill. And then he also said he came here last week to play 18 holes as a bit of prep. He also talks about, he says that the biggest thing for me is just kind of being in LA, and there's a big Asian community here, so have lots of people out there. So he sounds like he's got some extra sort of comfort at this place that I didn't really think of before. So I've tried to find him in a match bet, and the one they put him up against is Jason Day, Tom Kim. And you think, Jason Day, he's in good form. Do you want to be doing that? But Jason Day's course form is horrendous. Last 5 visits, I think they're the only 5. Miscut, 64th, 62nd, miscut. So Jason Day just doesn't get on with this course. I don't quite know why. The other California course, Torrey Pines, not that far away, so on the coast. He loves that, absolutely loves that place. But this one, you've got to think after 5 attempts and you've not finished in the top 60, something's not suiting your eye or whatever. So yeah, he's in good form, but I think this might be the place where he just might just step back a bit. So I thought Tom Kim's the outsider in that match, better even money. So he's the other one.
So if we put Adam Scott to beat Tiger, Keegan Bradley to beat Justin Rose, and Tom Kim to beat Jason Day into a treble, what does that get us in terms of price?
4.68.
That's not so bad.
Yeah.
So at 4.68 for those 3 gentlemen to succeed in the Genesis Invitational. I know before we pressed record or go live today, you were talking about the Netflix special that's come out, weren't you? With, I've been watching one on the tennis, but the Netflix released the golf one yesterday, and you've already halfway through it, I understand.
Yeah, 8 episodes. So I watched 4 yesterday. So I watched the first 3. It starts out with quite a gentle sort of piece with Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas. And it was kind of, oh, they're great guys, but I kind of knew they were great guys. Oh, isn't Justin Thomas's dad a nice fella? Yeah, I sort of knew that already. Oh, they're cool friends, aren't they? Yeah. So it was a gentle start to the thing, really. And they are nice guys, but it didn't really have me on the edge of my seat or anything. The second episode was more interesting because it showed Brooks Koepka, and it kind of showed him battling with self-doubt. And he had that period where he won 4 majors, and now because of injuries and just loss of confidence, you could see him. I mean, his wife sort of showing him, which wedding dress shall I wear, and he's just glazed over. He's not in the room. He's thinking about how can I hit more fairways and stuff like that. So it kind of made his decision to go to live more understandable, because you're looking at him and you're thinking, deep down, there's part of him that's thinking, is that it for me? If my best year's gone? So I don't think he's someone who's going to wrestle with the fact that it's kind of a regime he doesn't agree with. He's just thinking, I need some money here to
cash in,
keep going, because I'm worried that my best is gone and I'll never get it back. He talks about this big fear that I guess a lot of golfers must have of having the high and then you dip, and then how do you ever get it back? So that was quite an interesting one. And then I watched the one about Ian Poulter. A few people had said, oh, he comes across terribly in that one. He didn't really. I think with sports people, I think you've got to realize we pick and choose when we like them. So we love Poulter in the Ryder Cup. So it's sort of all right not to like
all
him.
of that stuff.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a sort of, so it's all right then not to like him for other reasons. So, we don't know him. He's just a guy. So it's almost a bit selfish to say, oh, well, he's what a clown. There's a scene where he just throws some clubs across the room in a locker room and smashes them up. But I don't know. I just think it's a bit not right to love him at one point and really dislike him at another. It's a bit of it's like our privilege to pick and choose when we like him. And again, I thought you could understand his move to live, because he's slipping down the world rankings. Part of the show is he wants to get into the Masters so he can take his son. I think it's Luke with him, but he doesn't get in. And you could see as much as Poulter's self-belief is through the roof, you can see him thinking, because they're showing a lot of his lifestyle. He's got quite a big family, and they've got a wonderful house everywhere, and the sort of private jet and everything. And he's thinking that, how do I keep this level of sort of luxury in it for my family, which is a kind of fair enough thing to want to do. And he's thinking his career, he's not earning the money he used to on the PGA Tour. If someone's just offering me millions, I'll do it. And again, if you've not got the kind of sort of world outlook where you're worried about where the money's coming from, you do it. I think certainly not something that I would do, but then I wouldn't get into his position in the first place.
It's an interesting one though, Dave, because everybody assumes that because successful sports people are successful and everything from the outside looks rosy, that there are no pressures and you can't be depressed, you can't get anxiety, you can't be worried about money because you've got loads, but you still need to pay the bills and you live your life to that standard, don't you? You've got your family and you're in that groove for having the big houses and everything like that, and you only need to drop down a little bit and all of a sudden you can't afford them potentially.
It's just on a larger scale to what most people are used to. But yeah, the bottom line is he's thinking, I've given my family this lifestyle. How can I now just reel back from it? So he's thinking Liv's come along at a time when the thing with him though, and I think he's sort of kidding himself because they ask him, well, what if you lose the chance to be a Ryder Cup captain, which you think would be, if money wasn't a thing, of course he would want to do that more than anything. But I think he's taking a calculated gamble at, it might just blow over and I'll get the chance one day. So I think that's what he's done. I think he's thinking, I'll have the money now because that's a definite, and the Ryder Cup thing might happen. And I'll take a bit of a punt that it might. Probably won't know, will it?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, it might blow over in 3 years' time. We might be all accepting of Liv and everything's.
Well, I think more likely blow over would be Liv vanishes and doesn't happen.
And then do they all come crawling back with the tail between the legs, or are they
possibly? Yeah. But anyway, so they're the first three in chronological order, and then I saw quite a lot of stuff on Twitter that you've got to watch the Tony Finau episode. That's the best one. So I think that's episode 6. So you can sort of watch them individually. It doesn't. I'm not sure if you need to watch them all sort of in order. So that's number 6. So watch that one, and wow, what a guy, what a great bloke Tony Finau is. He's another one. He's got this massive family, but it really tells it from the family point of view. So there was this feeling, why isn't he winning more? And you sort of learn his backstory where his mother died about 10 years ago, and he's still, sort of so choked up about it whenever he talks about her. They show him having like his foundation day. He starts to talk about his mum and he's just in pieces. He really is. But what happened was Tony Finau's wife lost her dad. So Tony Finau's first thing was, I need to support her because I know what it was like when I lost my parent.
Yeah.
So he put that ahead of his golf. That was his number one priority, to look after his wife. He's thinking, what a great bloke. And he did it probably at the expense of golf, because he used to in the early part of his career just go away, and he didn't, he missed some of his kids' birthdays, etc., because he was away. So what he decided to do when his wife lost her dad was to just bring the family with him. And lo and behold, he starts winning. Yeah, it's just because I think he's just settled that he's still giving her the attention and everything. People have said, is it not a bit... It's interesting. They contrast him with Colin Morikawa in the same episode. Morikawa is sort of baffled that he's so sort of like singular focused. He just cannot understand how you could possibly be competitive in a golf tournament. You've got a family of 10 to kind of worry about. But Tony Finau clearly he's happier with his family around him. So it's quite an interesting contrast between him and Morikawa.
You can see how that would work. Because if you walk onto the first tee and you are content in your own skin,
yes,
you're probably going to play better, aren't you?
Yeah. So the upshot of that, if we're talking about the sort of positive vibes and everything, is that Tony Finau, already a hugely liked character on the PGA Tour, he'll be getting an absolute ton of, Tony, mate, we love that one. That's the best one. I just think he'll have so much positivity around him this week that might be a little X factor to throw in with his pretty obvious chance. Anyway, if you look at his course form, he's twice finished runner-up here at Riviera, 2018 and 2021. So he loves this course. His last 5 starts, not finished worse than 16th. He's just hinting at really coming into form. His strokes gained tee to green, which is quite a big thing this week, is spot on. He's gaining like 8 and 9 strokes last 2 tournaments. So Tony Finau got a great chance anyway. You add in the fact that he's now everyone's like favourite person ever, and the media will filter through to him. You can imagine loads of guys on the on the range, just coming up to him and say, "Oh, I loved your episode, Tony." And I think it'll just be great for him. And these are the things that, they might not mean stuff to in other sports. Well, maybe they do, but in golf, it's such a game in the head. I think if you're absolutely fueled with positivity, I just think he'll play well on the back of it. He'll kind of, he'll just see that what he's doing is the right thing. He'll sort of reaffirm a lot of his actions. So I think he'll have a great week. So I just thought, as a singular bet each way, Tony Finau at 16-1, we can all cheer him on, and it'll be great.
I think I know what I'm going to be watching for the rest of today. I think I'll be certainly watching the Tony Finau episode. Anyway, the Genesis Invitational. Adam Scott to beat Tiger. He's 3-10. Keegan Bradley to beat Justin Rose 4-5. Tom Kim to beat Jason Day. Even money, all with Betfair. You treble them up 4.68-1. And Tony Finau, who I'm going to be going to watch in just a few seconds' time, 16-1. You can get him 8 places with Sky Bet or Betfair, which sounds on the fact that he's riding on the crest of a wave of adulation. Sounds like it might be worth a plan.
One funny little thing, you mentioned it before, that outside your house there's kind of like a billion extras. So there's a scene where Colin Morikawa is picking his like Adidas outfit for the week. And he's in a room, and there's a guy showing him like a sort of colour palette and think, how do you like it? There's about 20 people in there just sort of taking notes. My God, that isn't money like thrown up the wall. It really is. It's like, do you need all those people in there sort of taking notes? Just go into a room, look at a couple, pick it and go and play golf. What a faff, honestly.
I mean, as you can see, viewers, we are the height of elegance and sartorial.
Well, I'm wearing Adidas. Yeah, look.
How long did it take? Did you have 20 people in the room when you chose that T-shirt?
No, I looked at that. I thought, I quite like that. I'll buy it. And I did.
Well, you're a simple man, Dave, whereas obviously Colin Morikawa, don't you criticise Colin?
Well, I don't think it was his fault. You could sense he was sort of rolling his eyes inside, thinking, really?
Yeah. It must be very strange to be so high profile that wherever you go, there's people just hanging off your coattails.
With notes.
Yeah, must be really weird. I certainly don't get that, Dave. I mean, I know you do, but anyway, thank you very much, DT.
Yeah, cheers.
And thanks out there, Late Tea Time Podders. Tune in again around about the same time next week. This has been a sports broadcast media production. Always gamble responsibly. And like I say, we'll see you again around about the same time next week. Cheers, everybody.
Always gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information.